Imagine walking into the home of a friendly Italian woman during the 1930s. She offers you tea. She speaks with warmth. She promises to help with your troubles. But behind her kind smile is something darker. She believes your life must end so that her own children may live. And when you leave her house, you don't leave as yourself. Your body is broken down, melted, and transformed into soap, into tea cakes, into something ordinary. This is the story of Leonarda Cianciulli, a mother, fortune teller, and serial killer remembered in history as the soap maker of Correggio. Chapter 1. Cursed Beginnings. Leonarda Cianciulli was born in 1893 in Montella, Italy. Her life began in shadow. Her mother never wanted her. In fact, Leonarda believed she was the product of violence, that her mother had been forced into marriage after being assaulted. This belief, true or not, shaped Leonarda's life. From childhood, she was told she was cursed. She grew up in poverty, surrounded by superstition. Italy at the time was a place where fortune tellers, curses, and omens were taken seriously. And Leonarda believed them all. As a young woman, she was fragile and troubled. She attempted suicide more than once. When she finally married, against her family's wishes, her mother cursed the union. Leonarda believed the curse was real, and she carried that fear into every part of her adult life. Chapter 2. A Mother Obsessed. Leonarda eventually settled with her husband in Correggio, Italy. She longed to be a mother, but tragedy followed her. Out of 17 pregnancies, only 4 children survived. The others were lost through miscarriages, stillbirths, and early deaths. This broke her. Leonarda became obsessed with protecting the few children who remained. She visited fortune tellers and psychics, desperate for answers. One told her,
"You will marry and have children, but all of your children will die young."
Another gave her an even darker prophecy.
"In your right hand I see prison. In your left I see a criminal asylum."
Leonarda believed both. So when World War II loomed and her eldest son, Giuseppe, prepared to join the Italian army, Leonarda was consumed by fear. She became convinced that only a human sacrifice could keep him safe. And in her twisted logic, she decided who those sacrifices would be. Chapter 3. The First Victim. Her first victim was Faustina Setti, a lonely spinster who came to Leonarda for help in finding a husband. Leonarda, who also worked as a fortune teller, told Faustina she had found her a match, but she must keep it secret. She instructed Faustina to write letters to her family, claiming she was leaving town to meet her new suitor. Then Leonarda invited her over one final time. Faustina was given wine, drugged, and killed with an axe. Afterward, Leonarda dragged the body to a large pot. She chopped it into pieces, boiled it with caustic soda, and dissolved it until nothing remained but thick, black liquid. In her own chilling words, Leonarda later confessed,
"I threw the pieces into a pot, added 7 kilos of caustic soda, which I had bought to make soap, and stirred the mixture until everything dissolved into a thick, dark mush. I poured the liquid into several buckets and emptied them in a nearby septic tank."
But that wasn't all. Leonarda collected the victim's blood, dried it in the oven, ground it into powder, and mixed it into tea cakes with flour, sugar, chocolate, and milk. She served these cakes to neighbors, and she ate them herself. Chapter 4. The Second Victim. Leonarda's hunger and her superstition didn't stop at one murder. Her second victim was Francesca Soavi, a schoolteacher who was seeking work. Leonarda promised her a job at a girls' school in Piacenza. Just like with Faustina, she convinced Francesca to write letters to loved ones, explaining her sudden disappearance. Then she killed her. Francesca's body was dismembered, boiled, and turned into soap. Chapter 5. The Third Victim. Virginia Cacioppo, a former opera singer who had fallen on hard times. Leonarda promised Virginia work with a wealthy impresario in Florence. Virginia, desperate for opportunity, trusted her. But when she came to Leonarda's home, she met the same fate as the others. Virginia's body was hacked apart and boiled. But this time, Leonarda noticed something different. She later said,
Ended up in the pot, like the other two.
but her flesh was fat and white. When it had melted, I added a bottle of cologne, and after a long time on the boil, I was able to make some most acceptable creamy soap. I gave bars to neighbors and acquaintances. The cakes, too, were better. That woman was really sweet. It was this murder that finally exposed her. Virginia's disappearance didn't go unnoticed. She was more prominent than the earlier victims. Her family grew suspicious, and police began asking questions. All clues led back to Leonarda. Chapter 6. Arrest and Confession. In 1940, police came to Leonarda's door. At first, suspicion fell on her son Giuseppe, but Leonarda refused to let him take the blame. She confessed in shocking detail, describing every act without remorse. She admitted to killing Faustina, Francesca, and Virginia. She explained how she dissolved their bodies, how she made soap, how she baked tea cakes. The public was horrified. Newspapers called her La Saponificatrice di Correggio, the soap maker of Correggio. Chapter 7. Trial of the Soap Maker. Leonarda's trial took place in 1946. The courtroom was packed. People couldn't believe the smiling, motherly woman before them had committed such grotesque acts. Leonarda defended herself calmly. She claimed she wasn't insane. She knew exactly what she was doing. But she insisted her crimes were acts of sacrifice, necessary to protect her children. Her detailed confessions, especially her recipes for soap and tea cakes, made her one of the most infamous killers in Italy. The court sentenced her to 30 years in prison and 3 years in a criminal asylum, exactly as the fortune teller had predicted decades earlier. Chapter 8. Death and Legacy. Leonarda Cianciulli spent the rest of her life behind bars. She died in 1970 inside the asylum. Her story shocked Italy and the world, not just because of the murders, but because of the way she disposed of her victims, transforming human bodies into everyday household items. To this day, her case stands out as one of the most bizarre in true crime history, and she turned that belief into murder. Leonarda Cianciulli's story is a chilling reminder. Sometimes evil doesn't just hide in people. Sometimes it hides in the most ordinary things we use every day.